You ready for your interview?
Let's go up here and sit down.
Okay. I'm gonna do a interview time with Mr. Let's Dig. So
exciting.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I don't like interviews.
See, look at that. See how I'm coming through for y'all? Get it done.
I like being behind the camera, not in front of the camera.
In front of it? All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see here. If a person asks it first, I put their name down, then there's some that are just, 90 people always ask them. So George asked how much of the logs can be used for firewood. That seemed to be a pretty big thing in the whole build, right? And I think every time you cut down woods is...
I mean, you could use the whole thing if you really wanted to, but do you see people knocking down your gate to come in here and get it?
No one came.
Nobody came.
Fun fact, I had to cut trees down at the house I live now, and I put out free firewood.
Nobody come, did they?
Actually, I had one person that came, in a Land Rover and put like 4 logs in their cars. They'd have something for a burn pit, for a, whatever.
Everybody always tells me to save firewood, save firewood. Well, I've done that a couple times, and I get to the end of the job, and nobody has showed up to get it.
Yep.
And I end up having to pay to get rid of it.
Not a single person.
Because I've already done burning, and I'm like, nope, not anymore.
Oh, this is another one. Lots of people ask this. Shaw Bones, B-O-N-E-Z, asked, why not shred for mulch?
Would you like to pay 4 times what I'm charging you to shred it up? Because that's what it costs.
The answer is no.
I didn't think so. It has its purposes. I mean, if you wanted to go in there and mulch all those little trees down, yes. But mulching doesn't get the stumps up. So if we went, and even, I mean, they make grinders that come in here and shred up everything we got, but then all the stumps are left.
Right.
And you're trying to go pasture. If you go and mulch all that stuff up, you're going to have like 4 to 6 inches of mulch on the ground. You wouldn't be able to get grass to grow for like 3 years. And it's just, I don't like it. Plus it's very expensive.
Oh, this one we get a lot. It's actually been answered on the channel a lot, but maybe, people watching this, it'll reach more people. Ken Goss is the last one that asked it, so I put his name down. What's the 18 for?
I was 18 years old when I started YouTube.
Right.
Or let's see, I started an email. It was my Yahoo email, and I was 18 when I did it. So Let's Dig was my name, and 18 was behind that. So
there you go. Oh, this was kind of good. I've seen this one a few times too, but Rusty Steel. Does Chris get dizzy when he gets to swinging the excavator around?
I do not get dizzy in the excavator. Honestly, I hate running the skid steer. It just bounces you around so much, it kind of gets you like motion sickness. Right. But after about 2 hours in the skid steer, I've had all I want for the week.
That gives me a question to ask. It might be on here somewhere. So do you, obviously you plan your jobs a lot because preparation and planning is more than half the job, right? So do you plan out what piece of equipment you have to use when? Exactly. Like when I schedule everything, like the next 6 months, I know where everything's going. This and the excavator's going to the next job, skid steer's going to another one. It's just, you got to plan everything else, because like I might have one job I don't need the excavator on, but I need the dozer on there for like a month. So I've got to be able to plan the job so that I don't need the dozer where the excavator's going to go, because I might work over there if it's too wet to do my grading job, vice versa. Sense. So you really need like 2 of everything, but this stuff's very expensive. Yeah. So you've got something planned for, like on my job, like you've been here not quite 2 months, about what, 6 weeks, I think we figured it out. And you went and did 3 or 4 little projects, or started on some stuff, or did some things. At least 2 or 3 like little small day jobs. Right, to fill in because something, Yep. And plus you don't want to move the excavator around because you don't have a trailer of your own that you throw that on, right? You have to pay somebody to move it. I get one. Well, like I said, this equipment's been here for 2 months, so why should I buy a lowboy and a tractor trailer? Plus it takes a special license. Yeah, I mean, and permits and all that stuff. And your insurance and tags, tags on track trailers probably. Right. Plus $9,000 a year. You just pass that cost on to me. Correct. So would you like the one-time fee, or would you like to be paying for that while it's You're like, well, it's here for 2 months, so now I got to charge you for accordingly 20% of the cost of the trailer. I'm gonna come back to that one. That's pretty good. Oh, let's see. This was funny. Ian asked, can you please ask Chris whether he was allowed mashed potato and gravy when he was a kid?
He said, I'll leave it to you to figure that out. I assume that has to do with something with the pressing of the mashed potatoes and dirt is
And
similar.
mud,
That's got to be where it's
I don't
coming
know,
from.
but I love mashed potatoes and gravy.
There you go. Ian, comment if that's what you meant. You said you left it to us to figure out. I'm assuming that had to do with the mud piles.
It's been a long day. He's gotten, my brain cells are fried after beating around out here for 2 months.
Why doesn't Chris wear, Joseph, why doesn't Chris wear a microphone?
Do you want to know why I don't wear a microphone? Because I can hear fine and dandy in the videos. I don't know what people are watching videos on they can't hear, but I'll be honest, the main reason I don't like anything on me.
Yeah.
People think I'm just sitting in the equipment all day long. Can you verify that I'm not just
and
sitting
yes,
in the equipment all day long?
my videos that of the behind the scenes that kind of got this started that Chris doesn't feel like the camera's staring at him the whole time. My videos behind the scenes is what got people, I think, seeing that you get out a lot.
Like
it's a
when
ton.
I'm clearing, you know,
right.
I'm in and out, in and out, in and out. Honestly, until you had your little microphone, I didn't even know they had a wireless one. So just,
well, you saw the problems with it though.
yeah, and then
so because it's on your shirt and it flips, and all of a sudden the audio sounds horrible or something, you know, craps out.
You know, my main focus is to actually work. I mean, the videos, they come with what I'm doing, and but every day when I go to work, and you can probably tell the days where I'm like really busy because the videos kind of suck, because you know it is my, you know, at the end of the day I have to work. It's just not all, you know, video.
And luckily you have a customer like me that sent you some extra video.
Exactly. But yeah, I hate stuff clipped on me, and you know, the microphone would just get knocked off somewhere out there and I'd run over it, and honestly I don't have time to like edit all the sound in with videos.
It takes forever. That's even something I've had a lot of comments on.
The daily video, and unless you just want one good video a week, this
right, I can attest to that because I'm getting out an average of 2 videos a week. And I do agree that some of mine would be better with some voiceover commentary, but I mean, that's another 2-3 hours. And you know, I know y'all might not realize this, and I don't think Chris even knows, but I do have a job. I actually do work occasionally.
I don't know exactly what he does, but I would like to be a part of it, because free time, I've seen you with more free time than I've had in about 5 years.
You got to make time for yourself, Chris. You got to make the time. No, it's
somebody wants to do interviews when I'm done working.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock on a Saturday.
See, I'll do what I got to do. That brings another question was, why don't you get Mr. Bealey to video your other jobs? That was a question that came up.
Because he's got a job, and he probably pays better than
yeah. So,
LetsDig18
but you might see me on some, because I have offered. I've enjoyed this. It's been fun. Obviously behind the scenes, and you know, of course, I got some people from Chris's channel that have looked at mine, and you know, it's cool. So, well, you know, I'll probably will, if Chris offers, I probably will video some other jobs that he's doing. But it'll probably be using his equipment, so he has the video on his, because we're not turning my channel into LetsDig18 × 2. You know, this is my projects. It's been fun to show the other side of it.
What you need to do is just find some more projects for me to work on out here, and then you can just keep videoing away.
I need subscriber count, which is great. I love all of you. I need subscriber count. Well, actually, what is it? You need views is what it really comes down to.
You need to views.
Yeah, so we're over 200,000 views, which is pretty cool. But
and
yes,
another 100 grand.
Yeah, so we need. So I need views to go to. We need views to go to about 1 million, and then we can spread the word. We can hurry the projects up and do them faster.
Right.
When buying a used excavator, what would be the top things to look for that would make you walk away from the deal? Bob asked that.
I mean, there's so much stuff to look at. Just get on it and see how wore out it is. I mean, you can tell as soon as you run it if you've been on equipment a lot.
Doesn't anybody say yourself's all wore out, all the clinging and the ringing and the when are you gonna change the bearings?
Everybody said my tracks need to be greased, but it finally rained. And
yeah, have you heard
made
that?
A noise since.
Yeah,
but when it didn't rain for 2 months, yeah, it was a little squeaky. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to look for. You know, just your undercarriage and just overall how the machine's been treated, how beat up it is. You can kind of tell everything. Just honestly, if you don't know a whole lot about equipment, just get you a mechanic to go over there and look at it. You can hire somebody to look at it.
That'd be my advice too. And I've never bought any big machinery, but
it's kind of like taking a used car to a mechanic. Just have them look over it and see.
Yeah, I think that's.
But it's still a gamble. It is.
Russ from Maryland had a few questions. I think this kind of falls, you know, we had already talked about this some in the channel that we, you know, this is about the channel, not about personal. So I don't know if this is personal though, since you do have a farm, but yes, if you were going to chat some more about the animals on the homestead. I don't know if I haven't looked at old videos, so I don't know if you've ever done that.
I mean, it's just cows.
Okay,
Cows
gotcha.
do the same thing every
So it's
day.
not like you aren't really doing the, or maybe you are, I don't know, the like I'm going to do some of the permaculture deal where you fence them off into smaller pastures and move them every day and all that stuff. You don't have time for that, right?
Time for all that.
There you go. So maybe if he gets more time, we'll film some of that in the future. Nice to see Tim on the job. Timmy. In the dialogue, is Uncle John always so quiet? I'm just gonna read what he said. There seems to be Chris's business and John's business and no monkey business. So that was just the comment. But has Chris thought about small dump truck or front end loader to move dirt versus running skid steer around? Which I replied to him already that, funny enough, it was the same day that we brought one in.
We used the skid steer one day and then realized, hey, a dump truck would be better, and that's what I did. But yes, I mean, there's a place for everything, but you know, eventually you got to pay for this stuff, and it gets very expensive, and you know, it's not practical to own everything.
Right.
For something you might not use but once.
Especially when you can call people and you know people, and they're you know, they're wanting to make a look, you know.
I don't think people realize how much this stuff costs.
Yeah, we might talk about some of that. So
we'll get to that.
Yeah,
I got something to add to that.
Oh, nice. So yeah, it's not just, and remember, and we'll probably touch on this, it's not just the cost of the piece of equipment, you know, cost to maintain all this stuff, you know, and sure, some people run a car into the ground, never change the oil, you know, but that's not what Chris does and what any serious operator does. They have to, you know, you think of changing the oil every 3,000 miles, and this stuff is all in hours. So maybe we'll touch base more on that, but something to remember. Rick Lane comments a lot on my stuff. I don't know if he does on, I'm sure he does on yours because he came from your channel, but and he's from Holland. He says in Holland the majority of our excavators are wheeled, but guess the US is a bit tougher to work the soil. So do you prefer tracked above wheeled excavators?
That would be correct.
Yeah, because you wouldn't get a wheeled excavator anywhere here.
We call them pavement princesses.
Ah, makes sense.
They stay on, but no, it's completely different type of workload around here. As you can tell, like tracks aren't enough sometimes. So, yeah. Everything has its purpose, but wheels are not for me.
Yeah, definitely not for dirt work, especially North Carolina.
Road work.
No way. Yeah, you never get anywhere. Why didn't we sell all the lumber and just pay for the whole project?
Because I'm still waiting for my $1 million settlement to come through.
Yeah. So,
did you see how long those things laid here?
Yeah.
That's how long it took me to get rid of them.
Yeah. There you go. See, and we could have just burned them, and it would have just been gone, and wouldn't have had to cut anything, saw anything, nothing.
I cut them all, so I was going to get rid of them. It was personal at that point.
Last question on the list is, really it's more for me, I guess, was why didn't we just get our own sawmill to saw up the wood?
Why didn't you, Jeff? Why didn't you buy a $60,000 sawmill?
They're talking about the miser ones that are like $8,000.
Yes, that way you can cut a board that starts at 2 inches and goes to 1 inch by the time you get to the other end of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, we actually talked about that early on. And so if we stacked all this and then cut it all, and then maybe with the price of lumber the way it is now, maybe it would have evened out. And for small projects, you know, if you've got some lumber and you're going to build,
they won't let you frame a residential house in rough cut lumber anymore.
Well, there you go. That's the real answer.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
They will not let you frame a house in rough cut lumber.
Huh. Well, there you go. That's why, because I don't care about doing all that work to be able to build some more chicken houses. So
I mean, you can build all the barns and little cabins you want to, but from what I've been told is
interesting.
It's all got to be milled. I mean, it's got to be dried, because if you go and stick frame that and rough cut wood,
oh yeah, it's got to be dried.
It's never been dried out. My God, your wall's going to shrink up a ½ inch.
Yeah, easy.
You know, everything's going to crack and fall down. It's like putting deck boards on a trailer. You know, you butt them up nice and tight, and then 2 years later, you could
about step through.
You can about step through them. They've shrunk up so much.
All right, so this is the #1 biggest question I've gotten, and I've avoided the whole time, and probably not still going to get a full answer. But What did this project cost? That's the short version of various ways people have asked the same question.
Yeah, and it's got so many variables, and that's one thing I don't talk about, because it's just, there's so many variables to it, you know. Like this one, we were able to burn it, haul the wood off, but if you're doing like a house lot and you can't burn, all that's got to be hauled off, and it just, stuff costs so much more for different stuff. And you know, you hate to be like, hey, this, I'll just use a random example. I was like, hey, this costs $1,000 an acre to clear. Well, then you might go do I mean, I've cleared land for $1,000 an acre, and I've cleared land for $20,000 an acre. But when you have to put all that stuff on a dump truck, it's like 60 dump truck loads, and you got to haul it off and clear it, and you know, it gets very expensive. And it's just, if you tell somebody, hey, it usually averages this much, and then they're always going to look at the cheap number. He's like, hey, he said he could clear that for $1,000 an acre, and he's got 10 acres, and you know, he wants it done for 10 grand. And
why does he now want 50,000?
And then in reality, it's going to be like 50 or 60 or something like that. And I just don't.
Plus, another problem that would happen is, because I've run into this in my business, you know, all of a sudden you're looking at that, and somebody that doesn't even live here, or even let's say they do, they get a rough idea of the price, and then they end up hiring some other person because they're cheaper. And reality, maybe Chris would have done it for the same price if he looked at the project.
Yeah,
that's a big, you know, I would think that would definitely happen. Plus,
and then the cheaper guy isn't always going to do the same quality. I mean,
right.
Yeah, it doesn't take rocket scientists to clear land, but if you end up with a mess that you can't do anything with when it's all said and done, what good was it?
Right.
And a lot of stuff people kind of get a little bit sticker shocked on. You know, it might only be a couple day job, but you got to bring all this equipment in. This has got to be hauled in, that's got to be hauled in, that's got to be hauled in. I mean, literally, just looking at your job, I bought all this stuff new, and it was all this stuff was used, not new. And it's like $350,000 worth of equipment.
Right.
And not only does the equipment cost a lot of money, burns a lot of diesel fuel, this needs a depth sensor put in it. They got to pull the whole tank out, $1,800 repair. I got to do that next week. This is having problems. It's got to go back in. It's losing its fuel prime. That's got to be worked on.
Yeah, we changed hoses on. We, as in you, changed hoses on that while it was here.
That. You know, it's just equipment's gonna break down, brand new or not. That needs an intercooler hose.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
It's a rubber hose. They want $800 for that rubber hose.
For a rubber hose.
You can't go anywhere and get that hose because it's custom made for that machine. So.
So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, there it is.
So right there's over, by the time you figure what those hoses were and what that's going to cost, you're talking about over $3 grand of the profit from this job is going to go just to repair stuff. Which, you know, but repairs are part of it.
I mean, that's why.
People see the number and just think, oh, it's all profit.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
I mean, you run that. I mean, I don't even know. Actually, I wrote the hours down when I changed the oil. We'll see how many hours I put on this. Now, keep in mind, I haven't ran this every day. But that'll open. What's today's date? That was May 22nd. It's the 26th now, so just a little over a month. That was $41.95. Let's see how many hours I've got put on it since then. It's at $42.97. So in just over a month, I've put 100 hours on this machine out here working, and I probably I was here probably 3 weeks before I changed the oil in it. So I probably got 150, 175 hours just with this machine on this project.
Right. And as you see, all these machines got used on the project.
Yeah. So it's a lot of maintenance and upkeep, and everybody doesn't understand the insurance. All this stuff has got insurance.
In case you knocked down a tree and took out the 1910 house. Of course, he said I should have burned it down to begin with.
Then you got your liability insurance, and you got your workman's comp insurance.
In case he runs over Mr. Beelygood because he's a fool getting too close out there trying to film.
I can't sue him. Or if you run over me or something out here on the four-wheeler,
run the drone into you while you're working.
I can't sue you for damages that you caused me. So yeah, you pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year in insurance just so you can't sue anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to have a large amount of insurance for all the projects we go on. So I can imagine yours is probably more.
There's nothing you can, I mean, and you got to have it.
Yep.
Because if one thing bad goes wrong, you're screwed.
Yep.
But yeah, that's, equipment is very expensive. I mean, this machine now, with the way I'm set up, if I had to buy this machine brand spanking new today, with that bucket, some coupler and everything, we're probably looking at close to $250,000.
Takes a few pond jobs to pay for that.
It takes a lot. And not only that, I mean,
well, unless your budget was 150,000,
yes,
like one person thought.
You know, I'll adjust the invoice accordingly. I'll come in under that. How about that?
Perfect. Good.
But no, I mean, and then you know, and it's another thing I had to eat when I priced this job in last year or in January. Diesel fuel was $1.29 a gallon.
Right.
It's $3 a gallon now. So I mean, you start burning, you know, 175 hours, and you've burnt, you know, 50 gallons a day.
Right.
4 or 5 gallons an hour.
Pipe went up.
It adds up.
Pipe went up on the
materials.
Yep.
The pipe back there that I bought in February had doubled in price.
Yeah. So I mean, that right there. I mean, so you know, I think some people commented that your overhead's lower, and I don't imagine how your overhead is really low, unless you're, you know, the competition, so to speak, is people that are running a bunch of guys. Maybe that would be more overhead. But
now, if I worked every day, obviously, I probably could have done this in a month.
Right.
But you know, trying to work with my uncle and, you know, full time, and then do this as well, it's just, you work when you can work.
Yeah.
But it kind of worked out good because it was so dry we couldn't burn anyway, so it gave time to get all that out and get it dried up, and then when time come to burn, we burned.
You tree killer.
I am a tree killer.
Why are you breathing oxygen? That was just crazy.
I'll be 100% honest, people. It's what I've done my whole life, and I'm gonna be honest. If I don't do it, you're gonna get somebody else that's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I might as well be here to do it. So
yeah.
I fully understand about leaving trees, but like I said in the videos, if you fly a drone around here, there's nothing but trees. If you want to do anything other than look at trees and rake up leaves, you've got to.
There's 600 acres of trees right next to me. There's 200 on the other side. There's like 250 going back behind us.
Didn't the Forestry Service say we have more timberland now than we did 100 years ago?
Yes, yes, due to good management practices, and that's it. You know, lots of people just want to let this stuff grow and grow, and I mean, you see, it's just like a fish pond. If I put fish in that pond and we don't fish it, then the fish will get collectively smaller and smaller till they're just crap. So, you know, properly managed forest will grow bigger trees, and one bigger tree will put off the same as 3, 4, I don't know, I'm sure somebody out there knows exactly. You know, how many saplings does it take to put off the same oxygen?
That's that humongous tree right there.
Right. So you want big, healthy trees. You don't want a forest full of just little crap. And that's why, you know, sure. I mean, there's some people that cut everything down, of course, you know, and I mean, they can comment how they do things, but
Just
I mean,
remember, you're never going to make everybody happy.
Yeah, never. No one's going to be happy. I'm not going to get 100% likes. So.
But when you grow up in the big city and all you see is buildings, yeah, you probably get your feelings hurt when you see all the trees knocked down.
Yeah, but when you live here and
it's lived out here your whole life, it's a part of life.
Yep. All right.
I hope I was able to answer some of your important questions.
Yeah, you answered some of them. Had a great time out here. It's been fun.
You're welcome. I mean, I'm still on the clock till I leave. So, what's another 10 questions?
Oh, when's this over? Now. Click.